Welcome back to the Hoops Lounge. This is a special, not NBA, but USA basketball, FIBA global basketball sneak preview show where we're looking at USA basketball versus Brazil. I'm Marc Griffin, aka Montreal Mark. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Boileau, Sporting Phil. And as I said, USA versus Brazil tonight in Chicago at the United Center. Phil, what are you looking at in terms of this game tonight?
Well, I'm looking at finally being able to showcase some of that big talent. I know a lot of people have been talking about, the names that are not there, but I'm still interested in names that are there. First of all, my favorite player is the NBA, Mr. Unibrow, Anthony Davis. I think this is the year where he takes that next step like Durant did a few years back and puts himself into the conversation for best power forward in the whole league. And also, I've had a couple conversations off camera, Mr. Andre Drummond getting an opportunity with so many of the bigs walking away. So I'm looking for the bigs domination. I've always been a fan of the big man in the NBA, so Anthony Davis, Andre Drummond getting to showcase their talents, that's my number one thing.
I mean, they are two guys to look out for tonight, especially because of Boogie Cousins' recent injury. He got an MRI the other night. Apparently, it's not that bad. He's not going to be playing this evening. But I think it's about 15 or 16 guys going for 12 roster spots. And so basically it's between Andre Drummond, Boogie, and Miles Plumlee, of all people, for that last big man spot. So I expect Andre Drummond to be playing big minutes tonight because they are playing against some very big Brazilians. They got front court in Brazil of Nene, Thiago Splitter, and Anderson Vieira. That's some pretty powerful, solid NBA guys playing for Brazil. And like I said, Coach K, I think he's going to just say, okay, Andre, can you play with these guys?
Yeah, no, I think talent-wise, he's definitely there. I think there is that risk of them playing a bit of a hack-a-shack on him because they know he can't hit his free throws. And I wasn't surprised at all to DeMarcus Cousins not even being mentioned as a possible, included player later on. Like, I think, given what happened to Paul George, the Sacramento Kings are definitely shutting him down after this. They're not going to take a risk. But again, this is the point where Andre Drummond, another player who's been really coming on strong ever since he was a rookie, is this where he takes another leap? I think this opportunity, look, they don't have the big men they need or that they really want. So these guys are going to have to play big, big minutes. And I'm really excited. But I know you've got to be a little bit excited about that backcourt, being a Golden State fan and plus. What back there gets you going these days?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. They basically have 4 point guards, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And keep in mind, they already got rid of John Wall. So you've got Derrick Rose, Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, and Kyrie Irving, all who can kind of play the two, but I think you'll see Derrick Rose playing the one, Steph Curry the two, and the other guys coming off the bench is kind of energy six-man guys.
Yeah, no, they definitely have.
But I don't necessarily see all four of them on a team.
No, I think, well, I don't know. I think in international ball you can play a bit smaller, and them all being about 6'3", they're not tiny, right? So I think they could definitely play, and they are going to need some good guard play. But I think the biggest question marks on this team doesn't lie, because I think in the front court it's like kind of guys like Drummond's job to lose, and the back court you kind of have those core four you just mentioned who are going to play huge minutes. Because they plan on playing a really fast up and down tempo. It's the wing players that are in question this year. Years past we had Melo, LeBron, all those guys, but not this year. You're having some more unconventional names like Chandler Parsons. Gordon Hayward's name was a bit there. DeMar DeRozan. I think this is going to be a year where I don't think there's a lack of talent on this team, even with these injuries and people pulling out of the competition. I still think there's enough talent to make it happen, but a lot of these young guys are going to have to make this leap, and I think that's going to be the big what if, and can Coach K pull another rabbit out of his hat for that one?
Yeah, and interesting enough, they brought Rudy Gay into the mix after the departure of Kevin Durant, something we'll get back to tomorrow on the show. But interestingly enough, one person we also have to look out for kind of on the bubble is Kenneth Faried. As kind of a smaller big man who doesn't have an outside game. I mean, he's an energy guy, he's a rebounder, but not really sized for the type of game that FIBA is known for. I mean, he's not going to be able to compete with guys like Nene and the Gasol brothers. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be making this team.
I don't think either. I think if he does, it's just going to be because they need bodies. So it's basically him, Mason Plumlee, and they have some energy rebounder guys. But in international ball, which we'll touch on a little bit more, it's about shooting, and that's why guys like Klay Thompson and Parsons to me are going to be so crucial. I think we're going to see a lot of small ball. I think we're going to see some power forwards with Chandler Parsons going up there, but they are going to have that issue with the big men. But if they can play their up-tempo style, will these big men of other teams be able to keep up and keep their energy the whole time? So I don't know. I think it's going to be more of a question of who can execute their game plan. Can these big teams like Spain and Brazil slow down the game and pound them inside, or can Team USA push with their glut of point guard, shooting guards?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what this game comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Coach K is going to experiment a lot tonight, and something else to look out for is the Chicago connection. Derrick Rose obviously making the homecoming, kind of 2 years away from the game back in Chicago. Playing at United Center, basically his home. Coach K grew up at 1.5 miles from the United Center as well. Also, you've got Kyle Korver, who used to play for the Bulls. Anthony Davis, who grew up in Chicago, and also kind of the godfather of the team, Jerry Colangelo, grew up in Chicago. So it's a homecoming of many sorts for Team USA. And also, do not sleep on Brazil. I know Moda somewhere is nodding his head. They have 4 NBA guys. They've also got Leandro Barbosa, used to play for Phoenix, kind of in and out of the league the last few years. They're a stacked team, man. I'm surprised that Bruno Caboclo is not in their squad, actually. But anyways, they got a lot of NBA guys, a lot of FIBA international experience. Expect them to be throwing a lot of elbows, trying really testing the U.S. big man, as you mentioned before. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup between these two teams because the USA has not played a game against anybody yet. So this is really their first test, and it's a real test. I mean, Brazil can absolutely be in the finals or the semifinals of the World Cup. They're going to be seeing them down the line. So this is something really to look for.
Exactly, and the game's coming up shortly, so before we let you go, I got to take your pick on this one. Who are you calling for tonight's game? I'm
calling Brazil by 5.
I'm going to call Team USA by like 12. I think it's going to be a bit of a romp. I think it's overspoken how much they need to come together. I think it's going to happen. But this is why we watch the game. So us here at Hoops Lounge will definitely be watching this, and we'll let you know that on top of all sorts of other coverage on tomorrow's big show. The trifecta of Hoops Lounge is coming your way again. All right, so we'll catch you next time. Sporting Phil, Montreal, Mark. Catch us on hoopslounge.com.
See ya.